Imagine having an AI-powered search engine for candidate profiles from across the open web and even from within your own ATS. Well, that's exactly what HireTool is. HireTool is a global talent platform that serves all recruiters, from small businesses to the world's largest enterprises. And with 750 million plus profiles from over 45 open web sources and channels and 30 plus integration partners, there's literally something for everyone. Recruiters can find more talent with AI sourcing, send unlimited emails, and integrate with your favorite recruitment tools all in one platform. If you're spending hours looking for qualified candidates, underrepresented talent, and updated contact information, then HireTool is probably what you need for your toolkit. HireTool is a platform that helps great recruiters accomplish more every single day. Check them out at hiretool.com.
HR Famous, what's up? It's Jessica Lee, hostess with the mostest. I feel like that is my now entry line when I'm in the driver's seat. I'm here with my friends Chris Dunn and Tim Sackett. You guys, back to school is in the air. I see those school bus drivers out there doing those test runs of their routes and you know, getting ready for that back to school time of year. Everyone and their mom has sales to get you to buy things. States are doing tax-free days so you can get a little bit of savings as you buy those pencils and erasers. It's that time of year. Tim, back to school.
Mm-hmm. Hey, did you see the article? I think it was in Delaware. There was a school district that's paying families $700 to drive their own kid to school because they can't find bus drivers.
No.
And they had so much money, like pandemic COVID money, that was sent to them by the state and by federal government that they decided, screw it, let's not run buses and we'll pay parents to drive their kids to school. $700.
That's interesting because, you know, this will be the first year for me where we send a child on the actual school bus. And I don't know if I'm like really feeling the school bus. There's no seat belts. Like, I remember what happened. I think I was harassed and made fun of on a school bus when I was little. I don't want to put my children through that. Give me that
Katie,
$700.
Did your kids ride the school bus?
So it's been a while. They did. But it's been a while since they've done that. You know,
ours didn't.
Yours did not.
No, because like JLee, like I think it was at first our first one did, and everything was fine. When our second one got in the bus, he got bullied, and he was like 5 or 6 years old. And ever since then, their mom drove him to school and dropped him off, and picked him up. But once they could drive, then you know they had to like pick up all the neighborhood kids and do that thing.
Yeah, that's interesting because we had the bullying conversation with our oldest one at one point. Ooh. Like I vividly remember that.
Yeah.
And you know, so he continued to ride it. But
get over the bullying. Keep riding the bus. I see.
Be tougher.
I see, Christian Dunn.
We stay hard.
Hey, hold on. It's not related. So we'll just talking about kids. We actually we had like a baseball league going on, and there was a kid that was bullying one of our kids, and we had to have like a conversation with him. So I had the conversation with him, and lo and behold, this kid
Wait, with the kid?
I'm sorry?
It was with the kid, not the parent. The kid.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay,
so kid to kid. So our oldest has a little situation. He's getting bullied. Just kind of like, so the next day or 2 days after I kind of had the pep talk with him, right? And this is the stuff of movies, correct? So he is in a line for a batting cage. And Tim's like a baseball family. Our family less so, but he's in a line for a batting cage. And we had the conversation with him, and the next thing I know, he is walking hard the kid down with a baseball bat up over his head, threatening to use said bat on said bully. So the good news is the bat was not used. And the other good news is he never got bullied again.
Yeah, that tends to end it, right?
Yeah. Got quiet on this call. Did I say something?
Right.
It sure.
We were talking about back to school and went to violent real quick.
It just really took a turn. And I'm at
was
a
like-
loss for words.
I was hoping to hear about JLee's kids, like what backpack they chose, like, Baby Shark or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I just went down the, hey, let's deal with bullies. And by the way, we didn't say use the baseball bat. We just had the classic, hey, so,
Stand up for yourself.
yeah, here we go. Right?
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So Jay, do your kids have any like first week school, first day school, like stuff they wanted to buy? They have to have.
Well, so I'll just tell you guys that one, my son is obsessed with Nike Dry Fit. Why he knows what Dry Fit is, who knows? But that's all he wants to wear. And like I let them sit with me at the computer to pick out some clothes to try to get them excited. And all he wants is Dry Fit. But he also can't read, so he can't tell the difference between Target.com and Nike.com.
So
and
wrong.
I know. Hey, look, he's going to be 5 this year. He doesn't know the difference. So that's that. And then for my daughter, though, because we want her to just feel like $1 million and be confident, she just anything she wants. I'm just add it to the shopping cart. You're going to be fine.
So what? Like a year from now, your son is going to be like fully like reading, and he's going to go to his closet and he's going to be like, WTF.
We're working on trying to explain Dry Fit is a brand name, and you can have Dry Fit qualities in Under Armour, Target, whatever.
Are you gonna make him draw like the swoosh like on his stuff too?
Yeah,
I mean,
you go like a marker, be backwards.
hey,
Look,
JLee, does he like the same stuff? Is he like a little Steve Jobs where he just wants the same like black outfit every day? He just wants to rock it?
No. He just likes the feeling of it on his skin and the cooling properties of Dry Fit because he's so busy running around.
Hot.
He runs hot. So that's the reason why he likes Dry Fit. But the poor thing. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. And you know what? He probably already knows how to read it, and I just don't give him enough credit. But going back to this topic, any back to school shopping things happening in your house?
No, I still have my Cooper, who's our senior. He could care less. Like whatever his mom puts in the closet, he wears. Like he literally is the kid that could care less about what he has.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, dude.
I would add to that, JLee. I don't know if you'll get there with your daughter. You may get there with your son, but our youngest one, and I saw this with the oldest one as well, Tim. I don't know if you saw this, but by the time they're seniors, there's a lot of it that they're kind of over with. They're just kind of done. Like, for example, my youngest son, good basketball player, they have like team shoes. They get like a couple pairs of those like during season. And I'm like a month ago, right? I'm like, hey, before the season, you need a new pair of shoes, like basketball shoes, right? You need a pair of KDs. Like, what do you need? Just go ahead and go get them. Hadn't done it. Just kind of over
care.
it. Like, he's like, whatever. Like, this is fine.
No, Katie, I'm the exact same way. I literally, so my son plays tennis, so he's in right now. In fact, he's played, I think, 6 matches this week. And we're like, dude, you need new shoes. And he refuses. So I'm like, literally, I'm on like the tennis warehouse and I just get like 3 different pairs sent to the house. And then he tries a pair on and goes, yeah, these will be fine. Like he doesn't even care.
Oh, I hope that day comes. By the way, because of the age of my children, the cool thing that I did splurge and buy them, and this is why he thinks he should have Nike Dry Fit. There's this partnership between Lego and Adidas, and it's Lego Adidas shoes, and they are
I saw those.
So cool. My kids are so cool. Okay, so Chris, because you brought up bullying, I'm going to stick on this bullying topic for a moment.
Should I bring the house lights down again with my stories of yore?
Well, maybe. So the bullying doesn't end on the school bus or at the batting cage. Apparently, for some people, they feel like bullying continues into the workplace. And so I thought this was interesting, and I haven't made my mind up about it, but I was reading an article in Business Insider about Lululemon, which we know Tim wears. Chris is more of a Nike person. but about Lululemon, and in their retail environment, their employees feel like there's an environment or a culture that's a little bit toxic. It can feel like bullying is what they said. And a lot of it was rooted in kind of some of the norms that they have. And I wanted to get your guys' take on this, because one of the things that they talked about was that it's Lululemon. They're an athletic gear company. And one of the questions that is often asked before they start their shifts is, did you sweat today? And so people felt like, well, like there's this pressure like around fitness and like, did I get my workout in? And like, I feel like I'm being bullied because you're asking me, did you sweat today? And I haven't decided how I feel about this, because it is an athletic company and they are selling a lifestyle and a brand that is rooted in health, fitness. Yeah. And so I wanted to start there with like, is that bullying? Is that okay? Or is that a cultural thing?
Couldn't that be an encouragement too? Like, hey, we're encouraging you in your healthy lifestyle. Like, I don't.
It all depends on the question, right, Tim?
or how it's presented, I guess.
Well,
the reality is they have a brand built on skinny, pretty people that fit in these tiny little clothes that they sell. Like, you can't be a fat slob and work in a Lululemon. That's just not that's not who they are. So, like, if you think that's okay. Like, go work someplace else. Work at Walmart. I don't know what to tell you.
I think
I'm in the mood to gaslight today. Let's just go.
Oh.
I do think that as any company grows, they're going to like struggle with these issues, right? So you can be a small retailer and be the hottest thing, like known to man, woman, like whatever identifier you want to put on it. You can be like super hot and be in growth mode. And at some point, a combination of your growth, JLee, and also a tight labor market, you're going to end up like staffing with people that don't look like the norm, don't look or act or think like the norm of the early people that came in when you were a smaller entity. So I think companies struggle with this, number one, when they really grow. And then number two, you find yourself in a labor market like the one we're in, and you've got to staff it. And then all of a sudden you hire people because you need people power, and they don't look like the incumbents you used to have. They don't think like the incumbents you used to have. And you ask the question, did you sweat today? And they're like, excuse me? And it's a different, like, you broadened your reach, right? And all of a sudden those questions don't hit the same way, whether they're appropriate or not. Kind of depends on your personal code and what you do, right? I like to run. So I think that's a great question. I think also too, right? I'll just say it, like nobody ever talks about obesity in America, right? And being fit and just doing a little bit every day. You don't have to run a marathon, right? But getting out and walking a half hour is a really good thing, not only for Lululemon, but it's a really good thing for people.
It's a huge drag on our health insurance expenses too, right? Like, those companies, we had companies, that, like, what is this, like a decade ago that said, oh, if you smoke cigarettes, we won't hire you. And people lost their minds. And you're like, they kill you. There's data.
JLee, don't you think, though, like the way you describe that, the transition that they're going to have to make a little bit, like not to get, like if this is really a thing, right? And with Business Insider, our Business Insider does a nice job of reporting stuff, but it's not necessarily, like there's not a lot of volume in terms of people they talk to, right? It's generally 12 to 15 people. That said that they had a problem in a huge company. But if it truly is a problem, JLee, they're going to have to change the way they ask that question, right?
Yeah.
And the impetus behind it has to appear less, did you do what you needed to do to remain hot or get hot? And it's going to have to transition to asking that question in a way that's more wellness focused, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so the thing I've been thinking about as we're talking is, first of all, you can sweat for a variety of reasons. You can be in menopause and having a hot flash and sweating. You could have gone to like an all-you-can-eat Fogo de Chao meat buffet, and I've had the meat sweats before, which is why I'm probably vegan now. So
you could be pushing out a catamaran Like,
yes. All of those reasons can cause you sweat. But if I try to make the comparison to like the world I live in right now, like one of the things that's really important to us is we want to hire people who embody the brand because they're dealing with a customer who is paying a certain dollar amount to stay with us. And they have an expectation for how that person's going to represent the brand and bring the brand to life. And that at the end of the day is what like Lululemon is trying to do. Like they want people who live it, breathe it, embody it, and can then like portray that to the people who are spending $112 on a pair of leggings that hopefully are not see-through anymore when you bend over. But maybe, well, just the challenge here is that like they're potentially not hiring for the right profile, right? So like, what are they doing to set people up to understand like this is the culture, we want you to be a brand ambassador, and this is the environment in which we operate, and or put people in the right roles where like maybe for certain jobs it doesn't matter if you sweat or not because you're in the stock room or you're crunching numbers as an accountant, and like whether or not you had a good sweat session this morning, we don't really care. Like we just need you to do that functional job.
But Katie, this is a startup versus a growth company, kind of issue, because like I agree with JLee. I think this is when you first start, you would never hire somebody that didn't match your culture. You would go to great lengths to make sure that person was a workout fiend, that they, whatever it might be. And all of a sudden you start growing faster, getting bigger, and the farther you get away from the mothership of culture, people start to slide in that don't fit. And then this is when you have these issues crop up, where you have, there was 12 people that are upset that somebody asked if I sweat today, and before you're like, wait a minute, that's a core tenet of our culture. How did that ever happen that these people got through?
Hey,
well, you got lazy, right?
Serious question for the both of you, okay? Is Lululemon about exercise or is it about being sexy? And the pause I get there tells me that I really like hit the nerve.
I think it's fashion, right? It's
right.
fashion
okay.
at that level, right?
Yeah, because there are some brands that are
it's
more
not about working out. It's about looking good.
Right. Go ahead, JLee.
Well, I was going to say, like, I'm actually surprised that they asked the question about sweat, though, because Lululemon for me is less about, like, Nike is an athletic brand to me where I sweat in
Lulu's
it.
about sitting on the couch and watching Netflix.
Well, or, like, just, like, being lean, thin, and zen. And so I could be doing yoga or on a vegan diet, which keeps me, skinny because I don't eat anything. So it's an interesting question that they're asking because I don't know that is what Lululemon is to me.
Yeah, I just asked the question because there are, like, when it comes to sweat, I think a fitness brand, Nike comes to mind, right? I would assume that all of those, a lot, not all, right? But it's just kind of accepted. They have a gym, like, on the campus, right? A basketball gym. They have all these facilities. It's embedded in it. I don't know that there's I don't know this to be true, right? But I don't know that there's a basketball gym or a rock climbing wall at Lululemon headquarters, wherever that is. I don't own any. I should do a disclaimer. I know this is going to shock everyone. I do not own any Lululemon
Katie, but
garments.
Dave, your body type is made for Lulu.
Yeah,
I don't like
great
to brag,
in their pants.
but
you would look great in their pants. You should get some Lulu pants. I'll send you some. Not mine because it'll be way too.
You're talking about the faux dress pants, right? The work casual.
You would love those. You would love them.
Well, I've got some that are like similar in nature, so I'm aware of it. I wouldn't say knockoffs.
Target.
Tim. No, I wouldn't say I'm like JLee's my mom, and she's like telling me
they're Target lemons.
Hey, Chris, here's your Lululemon pants. I'm like,
they're Target lemons.
And I wear them to school, and I'm like all pumped up, Tim. And I'm like, hey guys, check out my Lululemons. And they're like, it's not freaking Lululemons, dude. You're a joke.
Get ready to turn up the volume on your HR game. I'm Jay Arnold, former musician turned HR leader and host of Backstage Pass, the HR Rockstar. Each episode pulls back the curtain on key HR topics, from leadership lessons and bold career pivots to the latest in HR tech and talent strategies, featuring the rock stars within their industries. If you're ready to shake up the status quo and amplify your impact, this is your all-access pass. You can catch the show on the Work Defined Podcast Network and wherever you listen to podcasts. Subscribe now and let's rock the future of work together.
By the way, I just want my children to be as traumatized as me because I never had brand name things growing up, and I wore shoes from Payless Shoe Source, and like BOGO was the place to go. I'm back to school. I had Pro Wings. I think people were trying to get like British Knights, and I had Pro Wings, and they have Adidas Lego shoes, so that you can't have Adidas Lego shoes and Nike Dri-Fit. It's just too
Jay.
much.
Katie and I grew up the same way. We didn't have name brand crap either. In fact, my dad, when I was in high school, finally said, "I will pay half of whatever you want for like school clothes or shoes." And it was always a shoes thing for me, not really clothes, because he figured whatever crappy pair of shoes he was going to buy was half of what I was going to spend, and so that's all I got was half.
So what'd you do
I'll
for
buy
the
you
other
the left shoe.
Tim, what'd you do for the other half? Where you were like running, like going to get sandwiches for the mafia guys in your neighborhood? Like what? How'd you get the other half of the money?
I can never remember not working and hustling for money, whether it was shoveling snow, mowing lawns. The day I turned 16, I had my first real like W-2 job. So
Our kids are spoiled. There's no question, right? I can still. Tim, do you remember? This probably predates you a little bit, JLee. Tim, do you remember Pro Kids?
Pro Kids.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember I got my first leather pair of those. I was in like low top, like Chuck Taylor's.
Yeah.
Until then, I got my first pair of those late, probably like 7th grade. And like I played college basketball. Like, think about that. Like kids have better shoes today in AAU, like in first grade, than
for sure.
than I had in 7th grade.
Yeah.
These kids are spoiled for another day. They've also discovered like the notion of like Air Max shoes, and I'm like, I don't understand. I mean, part of it is they obviously see things that I am purchasing, but we got problems.
Hey, JLee, let me give you one more thing on Lululemon. This is a lighter version of some of the same issues that Hooters gets.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
This is all like appearance based, and like appearance is the brand, and it's lighter, it's more discreet, but it's still there, right?
Yeah.
And Tim, thank you for the comment on how good I would look in Lululemon.
On Lulu's.
This segment.
Shout out.
Sponsored
Lulu,
by
send Katie a pair of slacks. What's your waist, Katie?
32.
32, 34?
32, probably 32, because I like to hike them a little high.
Yeah,
You got to get them high off the dress
off
sneaks.
the ankle.
Yeah, off the dress
You got to
sneaks.
show some ankle. That's the new thing.
That is.
No. Actually, Jay, I read that like showing the ankle is now dying.
No. Wow.
Yeah, they don't like it anymore.
But it's not a big drop either, right?
No.
So
no,
now
we're not dragging them on the back anymore, but.
Interesting. Okay, we're going to keep talking about the youth of the world, though. We've talked a lot about kids, but I want to keep talking about the youth because here's this other thing that I saw this week that I thought was really interesting. So I was scrolling around on LinkedIn, and it caught my eye. It was a report that was done recently around the idea of quote-unquote entry-level jobs, and that the presence of entry-level jobs is shrinking, and more you're seeing companies market things as entry-level jobs, but that they have like 3+ years of experience, and they're calling these things entry-level positions. And so they went and did a bit of a ranking based on the data that they saw on industries. And maybe no surprise to you guys, software and IT services was at the top in terms of the percent of their entry-level listings asking for 3+ years of experience. So quote-unquote entry-level job in software IT, 60% of the job postings required 3+ years of experience. In education, entry-level job, 45% of the postings had a requirement of 3+ years of experience. And, the whole thing is this question of like, is there a pathway for a first-time entrant into the workforce? You're a fresh grad, like all you have are, let's say, internships under your belt. So you're going for those entry-level jobs, but when you're asking for 3+ years of experience, like where are you supposed to start when we're requiring 3+ years of experience? And I have a hypothesis of why there are like less and less entry-level jobs that truly don't require experience. But you guys see a lot more, with your clients and customers. Also, you have children in this age range, in this space of entry-level jobs. But I guess I feel like I haven't seen this talked about a lot, and it was an interesting topic to me. So, Chris Dunn, I will go to you first for a reaction of entry-level jobs that aren't entry-level anymore. Like, what's going on here?
So I think there are fewer pure entry-level jobs. I think like the years of experience somebody wants, if they don't want somebody right out of college, they just want to see that they've been employed somewhere else. So I believe that like for your normal, like let's say your normal liberal arts grad, right? Who did a liberal arts degree and now he's in the world of business, he or she's in the world of business. The new entry-level job is probably the shittiest sales job that you've ever experienced in your career, right? That's one path. The other path that, I personally love, and Tim can speak to this a lot, is you find a firm that is willing to train you with no experience as a recruiter, and you go get that job. Those are two examples. JLee, I would tell you the crappy sales job is the biggest example because the biggest danger when I hear young candidates talk about their experiences coming out of college, they get peppered with jobs that are on the verge of not being real jobs, right? 100% commission, like just it's a hard world. Tim, I'll throw it to you. Those are two reactions, but I think the really bad sales job is where a lot of these kids have to go if they don't have STEM degrees or something that's super specific.
Yeah, I mean, I think let's just first off, it's not an entry-level job if you're asking somebody to have experience in the field of the job. So software education, you can't be an entry-level teacher and come with 3 years of experience in teaching. It doesn't work that way. So that's just dumb. And the companies that do that are dumb. Now, if you're saying, wait a minute, we're going to hire an entry-level software engineer, you have to have software engineering degree or this many this experience in coding, then you might say, okay, we need some work experience in something around IT. Maybe you worked in help desk for a couple of years while you learned how to code. Who knows, right? So I think there's in a way you could say, okay, I can be an entry-level candidate for that job with some kind of experience, but it can't be in the same job. That just defeats the purpose of saying entry level. You might as well just say software level 1. In our environment needs 3 years of experience before you can start, right? That's not really entry level. It's just we require experience before you can start working for us. And so I think, but I agree with KD. I think most kids not graduating with a specific degree, you got to go out there and fight for that experience. And people lose their minds when you go, oh, you should go do free internship or work study or any kind of thing like that where you just get background. But, you have to do it. You got to build that resume.
Yeah. I'm curious your guys' take on this, my hypothesis of why we're seeing waning entry-level jobs. Because one of the things that I believe is that when you're taking someone fresh out of college, even if they've had internships, let's just say undergrad, there's a molding period that has to happen in those first few years. Even if you've done internships, the norms of how you operate in a corporate environment, the learning of what a real PowerPoint should look like or how to write a memo, compared to things that you might have done in school. You don't come out of college knowing how to do those things. And that takes investment in a person. You got to work hard to get that person up to speed, and the great ones will shine and take off, but there are some where it's going to take some time for them to, probably 2 to 3 years, to really mold them. And I just don't know that people are willing to make that investment. It's hard. I mean, you see some big brands that have good management development programs. Yeah, well, where they'll rotate you. They want you to learn all the parts of the business. What the return is on that, I don't always know. But we have a management development program, for example, for our hotels, and it's something that we have a lot of pride in. But I don't know everyone's always willing to make that investment. It's just hard, and so that's why people aren't doing it. Do you think there's something to that?
The classic historic one was Enterprise Rent-A-Car, right?
Right.
I mean, Enterprise had such a great program that everybody started robbing their people because they were so well trained. But look how well that company grew. If you wanted to go rent a car and you were going to go to Avis or Budget or any other crappy car company, compared to the service you would get at Enterprise on a normal basis when they were at the height of doing this recruiting and training, it was night and day difference. I mean, they were amazing. And those kids came out of there for the most part. I think I've hired, probably a half a dozen former enterprise management trainees in my
Easy
career.
hire.
And they were all good. Yeah.
Yeah, and all of that, by the way, is driven by youth, which is what we're talking about, but it's also driven by super specific assessment profile. Right? It's high cog, it's pretty high assertiveness, right? There's probably some type of human interaction type thing. You can't be a
teamwork, team environment.
Yeah.
type.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. And I've always rented from Enterprise just because I like those interactions. And JLee, you'll love this. I like to throw them a little bonus, half tank of gas when I say no to insurance. I just like to throw them a little something over the wall. I just tell them up front, JLee. I just say, hey, I don't need the insurance, but I'm gonna buy some gas from you. And they're like, great.
Great.
Shout out to Marie Artem over at Enterprise, who's really been the TA leader over the years for their recruitment program and their management trainee efforts. But do you guys remember? I feel like I've heard that their profile also that they hire for is not like that 4.0 student. Like they like the jocks, they like the people who are accustomed to being in that team environment, and like they want that gregarious, outgoing person, and they're okay with that.
Katie and I is Division II, Division III NAIA athlete that like they're not stuck that they thought they were going to go pro, but they still grinded it out and went for 4 years in the seasons and the training, getting yelled at. And so then coming to work as a management trainee for Enterprise was like, this is awesome. And they just thrived. But they didn't want like the University of Alabama, like star football player, because that kid expected too much. Too much had been given to him. They didn't have to work hard enough for that.
And honestly, Tim, they don't want, whether it's University of Michigan, name the school, they don't want the 4.0 high achieving like scholarship person. They want the grinder. They want somebody that has already experienced life without a pedigree, because it will all be normal to them. I think anytime that you inject somebody that's had, there's a lot of different words for it, but has had success and has been told that they're special, going to work at an Enterprise location and doing everything that's required, it's too hard.
Yeah.
It's like too much work. Who else, JLee? Does anybody else, like Enterprise? I was going to bring up Enterprise, and Tim stole my thunder. Does anybody else thanks, Tim. Does anybody else do a good job, like in volume, just with entry-level hires? Who comes to mind? Marriott?
Well, Marriott at the hotel level, yes. I've always heard really great things about Pepsi's management development program at their headquarters. Really strong.
But is that entry level? I guess it is, right? But they're hiring kids with pedigree at that point.
Yeah, they are hiring with pedigree.
And that's okay, because those kids are high achieving kids. I'm not saying anything against that. But you're right, it is an entry level job. The difference would be that they're taking the cream of the crop and putting them in that program, and you'll still see them there generally a decade later, versus like Enterprise, the kids are either up or out. And if you get to 2 to 3 years at Enterprise, that they've succeeded and they've thrived. By the way, hire somebody with a year at Enterprise is still a great hire for you. JLee, I interrupted you. So Pepsi comes to mind. Anyone else?
I'm thinking about like white collar programs, Pepsi, GE. It's like, the typical big brands that we think of. But the thing that I think is interesting is like for Enterprise's program at this point, like they've been doing this forever. And so it can't be that expensive for them to have this program in place. But I don't think you have to be like a big company, big brand at scale to like have an entry level management, training program or development program. Like what it really takes is commitment. You've got to have people to sponsor it, but you don't need like formal learning programs and things of that sort to help, shape these entry level people. But it's an investment, I guess.
I do think you need a group of new hires.
A cohort or something.
A cohort where you can get them together, even if you didn't formally train them, and still give them attention and like give them the feeling that they're part of something bigger than them. And then over time, be able to show where that cohort, everybody that's been through that cohort, where they went, even if they're no longer with your company, right? You want to be really proud of that, to say, look at all of our alumni, both inside the company and outside the company for this group. Go ahead, Tim.
The one thing we don't talk about on the enterprise side too, that how do you get a 4-year degreed person to come work? And we all know that job. You're washing cars, and right. You're having to deal with people coming in yelling at you, whatever. They actually paid really well. So when you came in as a management trainee out of out of college, you were going to make probably more than a lot of the people that also graduated with you that were going to some desk job. And they kind of made that to say, hey, and then, really within a year or two, if you made it, you were definitely making way more money. So they paid well too, to make that, to get those people to come over.
Tim, you did start that question. It was a rhetorical one, but I want to hit on it real quick. You did start that question. How did they get people to take that job? The other big thing that I think people like enterprise know is that they know who they are and they know who works. So it's a slotting process that goes on. So enterprise, and I'm just I know a little bit about it, but I've never been inside the system. But if you look at the type of kid that's there and you talk to them, you see the resumes that come through once they're on the market looking for something else. It's not the Pepsi kid that Jessica referenced, right? Mm-hmm. It's a tier down. And then I'm such a big believer, in a tight labor market, know who you are and know either by money or opportunity who would value you. And then out of 1,000 of those candidates, go get the best 50. And that's where their assessment profiles and some of the stuff they do from a selection perspective comes in. But man, it's they know who they are, right, Tim? And they'll pay those kids to get them, but they also wouldn't go after the Pepsi kids.
No.
By the way, I haven't had to recruit for entry-level talent in probably 10 years. This was pre-Marriott days. But the feeling and the gratification that I got as a recruiter hiring entry-level talent, that was fun. To be able to talk to a 22-year-old and help them get their first job out of college and the big milestone that was. And we of course make fun of helicopter parents and things like that, but this is literally it's my first job, and they were ecstatic to get the offer, call and literally tell you I'm gonna hang up and call my parents, I am so excited. That's some fun stuff. I felt bad what we were offering to pay them as an entry level hire right out of college, but I actually have a lot of fond memories of recruiting and hiring people for that first job. It's a big deal.
Jessica, wait till you get around to that point as a parent, because Tim's been through it multiple times. I just went through it with my oldest for the first time in a co-op program where he'll rotate 3 semesters to an employer as an engineering student. And wait till you help your own kid figure out how to present themselves. And what's cool about it is, and I'm sure Tim experienced this as well, and I know you will, JLee, is your kids picked up more from you than you think they did. When you start it and you're oh, so let me tell you what I know, go do this for me. And they come and they actually, and I know this will be the case with you, JLee, they come and they picked up more from walking by the door, while you're on calls than you think they did. Tim, do you agree with that?
No doubt. Yeah, it's amazing to me. JLee, I agree with you. I loved when I did campus recruiting because of when you make offers, they're so excited. And sometimes with experienced hires, there's so much negotiation and back and forth.
The game playing. Yeah.
And you don't get a lot of that with entry levels. They're just giddy. So but Katie, I totally agree with you.
Well, I'm hoping one of my kids hits it big and I can become a momager, and instead of like first job out of school, I can be managing their, contract and the writer and all the things. We're not going down a Britney Spears trail though, and we will not be in a back free unit type of situation. But what a heartwarming episode, guys, talking about kids, parenting, bullying with a baseball bat at the bat cage.
Whatever it takes, HR Famous Nation.
Oh, HR Famous Nation. You know what? That just shows you the well-rounded nature of these conversations and us, your friendly hosts. Well, that's it. Another episode of HR Famous in the can. I'm Jessica Lee. He's Chris Dunn, and he is Tim Sackett, and we are out.